right now there are coaches with half your experience, half your knowledge and half your results getting more inquiries than you are. Not because they're better than you, but because they just look different. And before you assume it's because of their feed or their branding or their graphics, it's not. It's got nothing to do with the visuals, how good they are on Canva or how many followers they have, but it's got everything to do with how they position themselves and how well they understand the people they're helping. Because they've done the groundwork learning what people actually care about and how to articulate their service to make it look like the most obvious answer, the most obvious solution that people generally want to sign up for. So much so that when the right person sees their content, they look at it and they go, I genuinely believe this person could finally help me. Because I'm working with clients right now who haven't sent a single outbound message in 3 years. Clients are coming directly to them, either through referrals or the positioning of their content. That doesn't happen by accident. That's what happens when you stop appealing to everyone and trying to help every Tom, Dick and Harry client, but instead choose to be generally irreplaceable to the right type of people. What you're actually about to watch is a lesson from inside my coaching community, Scale with Service. And it covers 3 different levels of differentiation, which makes your coaching business impossible to replicate. And it also covers why coaches tend to skip these stages and spend years trying to get clients, but blend into the background of every other coach and competitor. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand who to talk to, but also how to talk about your service in a way that that person generally wants to sign up and come to you for, rather than you feel like you're having to push and chase. So let's get into it. How do you actually stand out from the crowd and separate yourself from the market? How do you look unique? I thought it'd be a good video to add into this specific module because it should give you a practical takeaway method to be unique, to build upon your USP. And this will specifically help with the service or process content in that flywheel we mentioned previously. It's to help you articulate how you're different. And I think we'll just draw a load of videos together in this to make it more succinct and recap some of the stuff and give you that tool to go away and improve that type of content. So when people do look at it, it does look unique. It does get through that initial hurdle of like, oh, I haven't tried that before, I can't categorize that, it might work. So it comes, well, we start off with demographic again. We start off with, you don't niche down on demographic, you niche down on situational problems, and you niche down even further by understanding the reality of the people and the psychographic of the people. So it's understanding exactly how people feel around that suite of problems that you specialize in that first orbit range. So that in and of itself will make you stand out because it's the precision of the understanding and you being able to kind of label that. And then the layers of, okay, understand the situation, labeling it, so you really stand out and you're the person who knows the people who are going through that issue, that problem. And again, you can recap your memory on the orbit range where you look at the different levels of interest and investment and the different struggles from not actively invested in your market to the people who literally run the market in the middle of the sun. So remember your orbit range, what problems are at the infancy of that outer orbit range, and then where do you take them to? And then what would be the psychology, what would be the reality of those people? So that is giving you a huge head start on how you stand out purely from how well you know someone and how you speak directly to them. The next thing is your process. Being able to describe and brand your processes is important because it looks unique, obviously. An example of this is if you just talk about your method is progressive overload, you excel at progressive overload. Everyone can own progressive overload. There's no like protection of IP there. There's no, you sound like everyone else. But if you have a system, let's just say like you know, a four-phase plan for accelerated muscle gain. You know, that sounds more unique, and you can even label it with the brand name. My imagination is too finite right now. I'm only one monster in. I can't be that creative on this video. What do you want from me? But anyway, so you could literally just attach your own name to it. The evolution the evolution physiques 4-step phase plan for accelerated muscle gain. Now, again, I've been in the industry myself. I'm actively participating in it. I'm a participant in it. On one side, you've got bullshit marketers are so full of shit that no one trusts them. And then on the other side, you've got the world's best kept secret coach who is just too worried and too afraid to be judged by their competitors, and they're losing out on money, and then some 20-year-old is dicking them financially because they have the balls to put themselves out there and speak to the people who are going to pay them rather than pander to their colleagues. Harsh realities or extremes of both. Pick where you want to operate in this spectrum. But if you do make your process sound unique and you do brand it in some way and it seems different, that will make you stand out, because people will gravitate towards you by how well you know them. And if you have something that's different and your application and your process and your protocol is different, that will make you stand out so much more as well. And then lastly, it comes down to your personality, because you've got a unique understanding and you've got a unique process. How you do that and who you are as a person adds to your niche as well. It makes you different, because your personality type will be different from someone else's. Obviously, you've got Myers-Briggs. There's 4 base ones, then there's 16 iterations. Blending in from that, there'll be way more different, many other different concepts. In fact, I'm going to add this in. It'll be in module 3, where we go into my understanding of the 4 base personality types, how to spot them, and we'll probably create a quiz you can use in your clients, because people value different things. You know, they naturally gravitate more towards different things. For example, some people want to win, some people want to be right, some people care more about having fun in the experience, some people just want to be supported. So, you know, people buy for different reasons, and understanding this is useful, but also understanding who you're working with and how to influence them in a more positive way by not dangling the carrot, but, you know, people want different things. So understanding that can be useful to kind of get better adherence. So things like that. But you can do the test yourself, and you can understand a little bit more about you, your nuances, your character, your traits, your personality type, your tendencies. That matters because it's a personal service. So naturally, you'll have affinity to certain personality types, and you'll have ways in your own communication style attached to your process to the right demographic, to the right psychographic around a suite of problems. That is so many layers of complexity. And if you think about it in that light, and then really just spend some time working this out, articulating it, there's not another person on this planet who can operate the same space as you can once you see yourself in that position. And in time and experience, you will start to kind of sediment this, and you'll have the consistency needed. Or, yeah, as I said, with time and consistency, the algorithm will learn it. And it will start to gravitate and pull people towards you. If you're consistent enough with the content, that they will start to attract people with those problems, and people who basically have the affinity towards you, and they kind of agree and they like what you have to offer, and they'll start to kind of come through. We need consistency, which we're going to talk about shortly, but that is how you attract the right people, because it's really not about working with everyone. It's about working with the people that are best suited to your skill set, temperament, and ability, or to your process, so to speak. The problem needs to meet the solution. And people coming through with the right expectation, being conditioned by your content, they're going to come through. They're going to more likely adhere. They're going to follow the process. They're going to get better results. They're going to attract more indirect inquiries. You're going to have more opportunity to build a better relationship because they're with you for longer, and you're going to get more referrals off that person. That's the ambition with all of this. It's to get referrals and word of mouth outperforming any proactive lead generation tactics, so you can focus on delivering a really good service, and naturally people talk about it. That is a really enjoyable way to grow a business. It beats living in DMs. And it's possible, because I've got clients right now who haven't sent a single outbound message in 3 years, and they get a lot of inquiries, and all of them come through referral opportunities or the positioning of our content or where we put it. More details of that in the implementation vault, but it's positioning yourself and understanding how you're unique, and we have a lot of control of that. So I thought this video would be worth it would be worth putting in, recapping, so you have actual strategy of how you become unique. And this is, a lot of it does recap some of the work we've done in module 1, because we need to kind of keep that fresh. And the time and effort we put into that is because it is to make you unique and stand out. So many coaches don't do this groundwork. They just copy other people. They fail in that regard because they can't be as original as the person that they're copying. And they wonder why they're not building authority. They wonder why no one's interested in what they have to offer, and they get stuck and they copy the next person. They don't actually, they might spend 10 years without figuring it out. They might never figure this out. Whereas if we just do a little bit of groundwork and know who we are, our values and what we represent, and a little bit more about us, and we actively become the best version of us, no one's going to steal that. And this video builds upon that, where we can start to strategize it and have that really unique offer. And as I said, it just takes discipline, consistency, but that is a point where no one can rob it, and you become that sole market of one to the people who need it. So that's the 3 layers: who you help and how well and deeply you understand that person, how you do what you do in the delivery mechanism, and how you communicate and talk about your process so it looks different from every other option. And ultimately, who you are as a person, as a coach, because that massively impacts the experience on the inside of your service. It's a personal service, and personality is massively underrated. And when you add all 3 of those elements working synergistically together, there isn't a coach on this planet that can replicate what you can provide. It's such a unique combination and an experience which has a genuine value to it once you kind of get clarity on how you stand out. And this doesn't make your business more visible or louder, but it makes it a hell of a lot more specific, more deliberate, and more authentically you. And that makes it easier to market and stand out just by turning up and having clarity on those points. And when you're in that point, you realize how many other coaches are just simply trying to copy someone else, and they look like carbon copies of whatever's trending right now. They chop and change so often. And those same coaches can spend 10 years just copying and copying and copying, yet never getting anywhere. Yet the coaches who stumble across this information early on and do the groundwork necessary, they build a business that no one can steal. Now, this is just one example of how you can stand out by positioning your service and understanding who you help. If you want the full system, which covers content strategy, lead generation, story strategy, retention, driving referrals, I've got a lot of information inside my coaching community, Scale with Service. There's a free trial on the link below. You can access it right now and test it out for yourself. From working firsthand with over 450 coaches, when progress is made, it always comes off the back of instilling one new piece of information that they've been missing out on. Sometimes all it takes is just finding out one key strategy or one key lesson that will completely obliterate the bottleneck that you don't know you have in your business. And in this case, it's stop looking like everyone else. It's costing you way more than you think.